So last night, my friend and I went on this night street photo walk, and usually whenever I go out at night, I bring like a small camera, especially for photo walks. It's usually the Fujifilm or the Ricoh. But since we're going out at night and all of these cameras are APS-C sensors, I thought why not try out the Canon R7 for street photography. It's got better focus and pretty much better at anything and everything. It's also been a while since I tried using a zoom lens for street photography, so I was really curious to try it out. Now you're probably thinking, hey, it's a big camera, it's not like as small as the Fujifilm or Ricoh. It's probably not the best choice for street photography. Now, I personally don't mind using a bigger camera or a bigger setup. I've used bigger setup than this for street photography. So personally, the size of the camera doesn't really matter. It only matters when I don't have the camera on me. And that's when size becomes a problem, because you see, the smaller the camera is, the easier it is for me to carry it everywhere with me. But either way, I wanted to try out the Canon R7. Look at this place. Oh, thank you. I don't think none of them are vegetarians though. If they are, that'll be awesome. So throughout the whole night, I was using the 18-150, a telephoto lens that's around like 29 to 240 millimeter. It's got a great reach and very versatile, but it's not very low light friendly, to be honest. So all of the photos that you see in today's video on our night street photo walk is all from the Canon R7. And it's gonna range from 1600 ISO to 6400. Personally, I don't pixel peep that much at all. Like, I almost never do, because I don't really mind about the grain if I get the shot. And of course, I wouldn't put myself into that kind of situation where I need to use like, what, 25,600 ISO. Now, the only time that the R7 lost focus was actually in a very unexpected location, where I was trying to take photos of my friend leaning against this food truck. It was quite lit. It's not exactly like very bright, but still, I wouldn't expect it to lose focus, but it did. While there's many other shots that it did perfectly fine, and to my surprise, it was really good. Then after shooting at the food truck, we stumbled upon this, This is not Burger King, right, huh? Oh shit, this is Now that's when I put my camera away. I didn't really want to like take photos while they are working. Now, if you've seen the last Canon R7 video I made, I went to this car wash place, like a very retro looking one, and I went back again last night, and it did not disappoint at all. It did light up at night, which I didn't really pay attention much before, but it looked really good, so we went in and took a few photos of it. I really hoped all of the lights were still on, but a lot of them are broken, and it's just kind of, yeah, it doesn't, it's a very old car wash place. But I guess at the end it worked out pretty well because it really retained that history. That made the photo a whole lot better, in my opinion. And if I remember correctly, I shot all of these photos at the car wash around like 3200 ISO. The focus did not struggle at all, and I saw this guy from across the car wash. It was really dark and he was like mostly in the shadow too, but I still wanted to try to see if it'll actually spot him. And to my surprise, the Canon R7 did, and I was able to get this shot. Definitely not something I would recommend though. It wasn't really a good shot. I was just trying to see if it actually worked. Here are a couple shots that I took at 150mm, which is around like 240mm in full frame, or like this one, 35mm, and that's around like 56mm in full frame. And both of these shots were shot in a shutter speed, I believe like 1/60th of a second. And because of the built-in stabilization in the Canon R7, these shots actually turned out really good, even though my shutter speed was way too slow for the focal length. But I was still able to get a decent image out of it. By the way, if you want to know how to get sharp photos all the time with all types of camera, definitely check out this video if you're interested. I have to say though, the camera feels great, especially the grip. The grip is very deep. It's really easy to just like grab and go and start shooting right away. And I really like the dial up here where you can switch to photos and video right away. So I can actually get some B-roll shots and then take the photos, or the other way around if I need to. The switch up here, it's just way faster than the Canon R5, where usually I have to press mode and info to switch between photos and video. I mean, technically it's just one button away from switching mode, but still, this is really fast. The size of this setup, it feels totally fine. I could have gone with the 50mm where it makes it more compact, but I didn't want to have that much of a reach, because personally I don't really like to shoot that tight, especially for street photography. Now the only downside so far with this setup, like physically, it's that I have to use the viewfinder most of the time. Like I do not want to use this setup and just like reach my arm out and use the LCD screen to shoot like this. I feel like shooting at night like this, it's a big no-no. Don't use the LCD screen, especially at night and in Texas, where there's not a lot of light on the street and people don't really see what you're doing. You do not want to cause any sort of misunderstanding, any of the kind. So whenever I'm out with a bigger setup, I usually use the viewfinder, so I tuck everything into my body instead of holding it out like a pistol. I also use the LCD screen whenever I can and just kind of shoot at waist level, so I can just look at the frame in the screen like so. Just want to minimize the chance of getting misunderstood and get shot, because the places that we went to aren't exactly safe, even though I grew up there. Overall, it was a very pleasant experience shooting with the Canon R7 for street photography. There are times where I feel like the interface and all the autofocus system is better than the R5. It's got a really amazing autofocus tracking capability. For a camera that is under $2,000 with all of these capabilities, the Canon R7, it's really hard to pass. If you want to learn more about the Canon R7, definitely check out this video next. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.